In this tutorial we're going to look at how to move objects, scale and rotate objects, move individual anchor points and arrange shapes. First of all, I'm going to zoom in, get my magnifying glass or zoom tool, click and drag a box to zoom in. Let's zoom out a little bit by holding the Alt key, it's a bit too close. Now I need the direct selection tool. This is a black arrow tool at the top. This allows me to click on objects. I know this object is selected because it has what's called the bounding box highlighted in blue around it. The bounding box has handles. If I click and drag these handles, it will allow me to stretch the object or rotate the object, Ctrl Z, which we will look at in the following section. To move an object, it's best to click it in the middle and drag it, therefore avoiding the handles. However, if the object is deselected, I've highlighted a circle here to indicate in the center there's an anchor point. This triangle has 3 anchor points. If I highlight over this anchor point and click and drag now with the object deselected, it allows me to snap to other anchor points indicated by the white arrow. You can try this a little bit more on some of these shapes. If you click on the anchor, when it says anchor, click and drag, it will allow you to snap when the white arrow goes white to another anchor point, ensuring that you move things accurately. Now, one mistake that seems to crop up is sometimes you can select an object and double click by accident. If you double click an object like so, the surrounding area greys out and it means I'm in this objects group. I can't select anything else. To get out of this, I just simply double click outside the object. There we go. So to go into this object, double click, everything's greyed out. To get out, double click. Now I can select everything else. We know how to move objects, and I alluded to how to stretch and scale objects previously. Using the black arrow tool, the selection tool, I'm going to select this object. Now if I hover over the corner, I get a double arrow and I can stretch. Or if I hold shift, I can scale. If I hover outside the corner, I get a double arrow that's curved. If I click and drag, I can rotate the shape. If I press shift while I rotate, it constrains it to 45 degrees. Ctrl Z. I want to rotate this shape so it's the same layout. Hover over the corner, click and drag, press and hold shift. A little bit more, press and hold shift. There we go. I can now move my shape using the anchor point like I did previously. Hover over the top corner, find the anchor point, click and drag, snap it to the other anchor point. Now I'm going to scale. Start it off by stretching, press and hold shift. And there we have an accurately scaled and rotated object. The selection tool, the black arrow tool, allows us to move objects and scale and rotate. However, the direct selection tool, which is the white arrow tool, allows us to select the individual anchors. First of all, I'm going to pick this star up by its anchor point there and drag and snap it to the top here. I will need to zoom in to do this. Perfect. Now I can zoom out, pressing Alt. Now, with the direct selection tool, you can see this shape has individual anchor points highlighted by the blue squares. Currently they're all selected. I only want to move this anchor point to begin with. So if I click to select it, all the others have gone white, but this one is blue. I can now click and drag to move it. Click to select an anchor, click and drag to move it. Click to select, click and drag, click to select, click and drag. Let's try it with this shape. Selection tool, I've dragged it into position. With the direct selection tool, I'm going to highlight those individual anchors. Select, click and drag, select, click and drag. The final thing I want to show you is how to arrange objects. If you look at the two sets of squares, the black square is on the back on the left hand side, and on the right hand side the black square is at the front. Let's try and make the squares on the right match those on the left. First of all, with my selection tool, I'm going to select the black square, right click, arrange, center back. I'm now going to select this grey square, right click, arrange, bring to front. You can do the same with these numbers, trying to get 1, right click, arrange, bring to the front, at the front, and then all the other numbers sequentially behind each other.